You've got to fight this stuff at a fundamental level, or they just keep coming back. Abolish the kitchen for love and liberation, because that's what communism is all about. Hey, everybody, I'm Steve Green with Bill Whittle and Scott Ott. This is Right Angle, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. And gentlemen, we got to add another thing to the already overlong list of things that communists either want to abolish or ban or destroy, so they can build the new Soviet man or whatever they're calling it this decade. I can never remember. This one comes from radical feminist Sophie Lewis. She has a new book out. It's called Abolish the Family, a Manifesto for Care and Liberation. That's just a start, though. And speaking of starts, in this kind of glowing interview she got in the New Statesman magazine, where is this quote? It says, if we begin by abolishing our kitchens, what else might we get a taste for destroying? Ooh, I almost hate to ask. And according to Lewis, Scott, I'm gonna direct this one to you. According to Lewis, family is a terrible way to satisfy our desire for love and care, and ought to be abolished. What do you see replacing love and family and eating food that you cooked?
It's a patently ridiculous argument because nobody said that you can't experience love and care outside of the family. It's not like I grant you.
She says it's a bad way, though. It's a silly way to find those things.
I grant you that there are bad family relationships, and there always have been, and there always will be. However, there's no reason to destroy one kind of way of relating to people as if it prevents you from enjoying other ways. I mean, if you're not in a good family situation, there's nothing to prevent you from making friends. There's nothing to prevent you from joining organizations or clubs or associations. I mean, I think she wrote this book because she said, that would be a provocative title. Let's see if we can build a whole ideology around it, because then she could get whack jobs like me to talk about her. I'm not selling many books for her, I'm sure, here. But the idea somehow that if you got rid of the family, that you get rid of what's wrong in the human heart, I think is one of the fundamental problems with the whole communist view of the world. It is almost a naive view of human nature that thinks that you can cure the faults of human nature with institutional structures. You can create institutional structures to restrain certain kinds of behavior, but you don't change the human heart that way. That's why government is ultimately not good at solving the ills that befall humanity, from sickness to poverty and everything else in between. I think it's somewhat comical. And as I mentioned on our backstage show, somebody who wants to abolish the kitchen, I guess, wants to take us back to the pioneer days when the food cooking was done out of doors.
Actually, it's worse. She has this pipe dream where if you abolish the kitchen, people will get together in communal kitchens and make delicacies for one another.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know what she's smoking. Probably some pretty good stuff.
That's some good stranger danger food right there.
Well, let's go to you for this next one. Lewis is getting glowing reviews from all the usual places. The Nation says, want to dismantle capitalism? Abolish the family. And Vice says, Sophie Lewis is reviving the case for abolishing the family, as though there'd ever been a really good case for that to begin with. Yeah. And she actually has, this is her second book. Her first one came out in 2019, and it was called Full Surrogacy Now, Feminism Against the Family. And what she was saying was husbands and wives should not make babies together. All births should be through surrogate mothers, if you can believe this or not. And as a reader explained to me, before I get to that, the whole purpose with making all babies surrogate births is, in doing so, we break down our assumptions that children necessarily belong to those whose genetics they share. And Bill, as a reader explained to me at PJ Media at Vodka Planet earlier today, that is literally a Handmaid's Tale, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the name of this new book?
The new book is called Abolish the Family, a Manifesto for Care and Liberation.
Yeah, anything that comes after the word manifesto is going to be either stupid or evil, or usually both. That's number one. Number two, I think she's going to find this a little more difficult than she suspects because, as they've been saying, you can take the woman out of the kitchen, but you can't take the kitchen out of the woman. Finally, when she says, what are some of the alternatives? The alternatives are the ministry of love, right? That's basically the alternative. Whenever I run into people like this, Steve, whether it's a writer like this or these really activist left wingers and stuff, instead of asking about their political views and stuff, I always just want to start by saying, tell me about your dad.
Yeah,
that's where I always want to begin. Tell me about your dad, and that's probably going to be most of the information you need. If not, then you can just follow up with tell me about your mom. What does it say about this individual to make this your mission in life, to abolish the family? What does it tell you about the emotional barrenness of this person's life? What does it say about the sheer disconnectedness from humanity to be making this head argument in order to convince other people who had miserable parenting how smart they all are? Look, she's more than welcome to have her political opinions, obviously, and if she if she can find an attractive enough test tube, she can have a surrogate baby of her own. That's her business as well. But the point of this is that in order to make a case like this, you have to have something fundamentally wrong with you. Fundamentally wrong with you. The latest version of the what is it, that standards of psychiatric thing, they constantly updating. The technical term for what this woman is suffering from is she's batshit crazy, and that's fine. But Steve, I think actually the most batshit crazy thing about this batshit crazy woman is that she seems to think that this might be something that would actually happen. That this book written by some batshit crazy lunatic is going to convince the rest of the world not to love our moms, our dads, our sons, our daughters, our just chuck it away because I've got a theory. And having done an awful lot of studying of the Soviet system and the collectivist system, the socialist system, chucking all the good things away seems to be the modus operandi, to be replaced by something TBD, right? That we're going to destroy the most important social institution there is. What are you going to replace it with? We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
Indeed, and with these hardcore lefties, they're the Terminator of politics. They can't be bargained with. They can't be reasoned with. They don't feel pity or remorse or any of that. They just keep coming at you with one bad idea after another. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, even though I'm sure this is not going to exactly be a best-selling book across the nation, is you've got to fight this stuff at a fundamental level or they just keep coming back. And you know what? They do keep coming back. So we're going to keep fighting this at a fundamental level. And whether we're talking about abolishing the kitchen and as a first step toward abolishing the family, or the groomers that have become so prevalent or at least so prominent in our education system, it's always about separating kids from their families, because then you can turn the kids into whatever you want them to be. And that is wrong, and it's gross, and it's got to stop. And my only advice is, don't come after my family. That's your Right Angle on That, brought to you by the members of BillWhittle.com. Oh, hey, I forgot to mention earlier, if you like these shows, click that notification button, click the thumbs up, click the 5-star, whatever it is. That helps us reach you. And if you want to make sure these shows keep getting made, go to BillWhittle.com today, become a member, or just make a one-time donation. If you like this episode, tip us $1. What the hell? Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.